What's going on, everyone? Garrett O'Leary here with the O'Leary Brothers team here at Lead Realty. And as you all know, the pandemic drastically changed how the world runs. Many people saw significant increases to the cost of living in the areas they currently live and are now considering making moves to more affordable parts of the United States now that working remotely has become a viable option. Well, in today's video, I want to talk about what the average American can afford if they should choose to move to the Emerald Coast. So let's get into it. All right, to get things started, let me define what I mean when I say the average American. When I say the average American, I mean a single person that lives in the United States and what they typically will make in a year. Now, obviously, this will be kind of a broad generalization. It's not going to fit for every single person out there, but I think it provides a good kind of baseline on what you can expect to be able to afford if you want to move to the Emerald Coast on a typical yearly income for the average American. Now that I've defined what the average American is, let me talk about what the average American makes in a year. From the studies and some of the articles that I read while researching to do this video, I saw that the typical American will probably make right around $54,000 a year. However, I will say that a few studies, a few articles that I did read did give me a few different numbers, but for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to stick to that $54,000 a year. But this will give you a good idea, again, what baseline you'll see on what you can afford and what that price point is. So let's jump into the next point. So what can you make on $54,000 a year? Let's assume that you are committed to moving to the Emerald Coast, that you want to buy a home, and that you've maintained that job that pays you $54,000 a year. After consulting with a lender friend of mine, we kind of nailed down that someone making $54,000 a year will probably be able to afford a $200,000 home, give or take $5,000 to $10,000. Before I move on, I highly recommend speaking to a lender if you are considering moving or buying pretty much anywhere in the United States, regardless of your situation. What a lender will do is kind of walk you through your financial situation and really determine what you can and can't afford. In reality, what you can and can't afford when purchasing a home is based on a number of factors that I'm just not going to include in this video because it's something that you will need to discuss with a lender when you ultimately want to purchase a home. So again, I highly recommend speaking to a lender if you are interested in purchasing anytime soon or anywhere in the United States. So now that we know the approximate price point that someone making $54,000 a year can afford, let's look at the locations on the Emerald Coast where that scenario kind of fits. Now, according to the multiple listing service, after putting up a price range up to $210,000, there are 62 listings that someone in this price range can afford. Now, these listings are fairly spread out along the Emerald Coast, but a good chunk of them and where you'll find them is going to be Fort Walton Beach and a lot of the towns that are inland from the Emerald Coast. Those towns being Crestview, Defuniak Springs, Mossy Head, and that general area pretty much entirely is where most of these listings are going to be. A positive note about this is after looking at some of the statistics when I came to this search, I noticed that the median list price for all these homes was around $150,000. And those are for your typical 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom homes. The caveat with this is really to determine if they're going to be move-in ready or basically if they're not a fixer-upper. Now, when I adjusted the price range from $150,000 to $210,000, the number of listings dropped from 62 to 34, and the median list price increased to $177,000. So again, the positive is that they're still significantly below that budget. So if you are making $54,000, you can still pretty much afford a lot of the homes that are listed on the market right now within that price range. Now, before I get to the end of this video, it is more common to see married couples purchasing a home. So if I adjust, the yearly income to include a household income, that does jump it up to just under $80,000. And with that income, obviously you could potentially get pre-qualified for a higher purchasing amount, which results in you really having more opportunities to live where you want, as well as what you can buy. Again, I highly recommend speaking to a lender. They'll be able to walk you through this whole thing, walk you through your financial situation, whether you're a single person or a married couple or whatever situation that fits for you. It really is going to be enlightening to know what you can and can't afford, especially when it comes to moving to a whole different state or just finding a new home for you. Ultimately, I wanted to make this video to kind of give you a better idea on your path to home ownership. It doesn't take, earning a 6-figure salary to purchase a home. Perhaps that's the case in some of the bigger cities around the United States, but again, the way the world is going now, the way the market is, it's still an incredibly affordable option here on the Emerald Coast. There are plenty of awesome developments, new areas, interesting areas to live here, and your average American just like me can afford something like this. But anyway, that wraps up today's video, everybody. I hope you all enjoyed it and got some decent information and kind of started you thinking on where you'd like to live should you be considering to move. If you are considering moving to the Emerald Coast, reach out to us. We'd be happy to help in any way we can, answer any questions, suggest lenders, whatever it may be. I'll leave our contact information right here. You can give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email. And again, we'd be happy to help in any way we can. And as always, my name is Garrett with the O'Leary Brothers team at Lead Realty, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.